Hey yo, we back. And the last time we was here, we tapped into 2001 and I listed off some of my favorite albums from 2001. And I said I was going to do 1995 next, but man, listen. I went and I started listening to different years and shit. And I got to 2002 and I'm like, damn. 2002 was a good year for me as far as albums and music. That's cuz I was that's like the summer. That's like the summer after um ninth grade type shit. Freshman year or going into 10th grade, some shit like that. It's around that time though. Like either I was in the 10th grade or I was going to the 10th grade, but this is around that time when all these albums is hitting. Like so I decided let me go into these joints because I probably could get more in depth with 2002 versus 1995, but I'm still gonna hit y'all with 1995. I just want to do a little bit more research. We gonna get way more in depth with these shits as time go on. I hope y'all ready for that, and I hope y'all recognize, and I hope y'all appreciate it, because it's definitely gonna get more extensive, and we gonna do what we do here. But with no further ado, let's get into this shit. 2001 hip hop slow burn report. First up on the list, we got The Roots, Phrenology. This the Roots' fifth album. It's a pivotal moment in their career. The Roots is a dope ass group. Like, they got a different sound with them. It's mixed up with like jazz, funk, soul, and hip hop too. Though, like you put it all together with hip hop, and that's kind of like what the Roots sound is. And shout out to the Roots, man. They do that jazz festival, or that music festival rather, every year. I ain't make it yet, but I'm planning on being there next summer. I'll be missing the date, be having other shit going on, but this year I'm gonna make it there. Um, the themes of this album is identity, addiction, social commentary, and love. Like it's a different type of album. It's not the normal street rap, gutter, gangster shit. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I love that, but it's not that. It's a little different as far as what you would be used to if you were underground hip hop head. But it's definitely a great album, and it's named after pseudoscience. The name phrenology is named after pseudoscience. It includes, or rather involves, analyzing skull shapes to determine personality traits. I got that in my notes. I'm not gonna act like I'm just going off top with this shit. I got notes, but I did that to make this more interesting and more in depth for y'all. You understand? Um, the album examines the mind and society. That's a part of phrenology. It's examining the mind and the brain and shit. So like, I guess I could be like a phrenologist if that's the word for it, because I like to examine the mind and I like to examine movements and shit. So it is what it is. But this album is critically acclaimed for the depth and the creativity, the lane it took hip hop into. It's not your norm. You understand what I'm saying? So they did their thing in only the way they could. Like when you hear the Roots, you know the Roots. The Roots is one of those groups, I give it to them. They like outcasts. You understand what I'm saying? Like nobody could do what the Roots do. This album was nominated for a Grammy. If you don't win a Grammy, being nominated for a Grammy is just as good, especially in hip hop, because a lot of people don't get them shits. We not gonna say nothing bad about the Grammys. We love the Grammys here. The Seed, Break You Off, Water, those notable tracks from this album. One of my favorite tracks from the Roots in general is "Break You Off." That might be the first track I've heard from them. Damn, no, the first track I really can remember from them is damn, I can't remember the name of it, but it's the joint with Erykah Badu. So since I can't remember it, I'm gonna put a little clip right here of the video because I definitely remember the video, but I can't remember the title of the track. But it's right there. Production credits go to the Roots, Cody Chestnut, James Poyser, Scott Storch, Derek Hodge, and Kareem Riggins. This album was innovative. It experimented with sounds, but it stayed true to their roots. That's a play on words, but it stayed true to their roots. They continued to do what they do, but they innovated their sound, which is always good because you can't keep doing the same thing exactly the same way for too long and expect to have longevity in this game. But me and you both, we got to go tap into this Roots Phrenology album because this is one of those albums that I probably didn't hear all the way through, but I got a love and respect for the Roots. So I'm definitely about to go back and I'm going to listen to this album all the way through. And this probably be one of the first on my list that I do when I do a full album breakdown. So y'all stay tuned for that. But if you didn't hear that Roots, the Phrenology, or if you did, go tap in, listen to it, let me know what you think, come back, leave a comment, hit that like button too. Oh yeah, and if you ain't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you will know when we dropping these. But it's nothing really too much more to say about the Roots. Go get that. We about to go on to the next one. And we're gonna get into that Core Mega, the true meaning. This right here is Core Mega's second album. Another introspective joint with a lot of lyricism and gritty street narratives. It's authentic. That's what it's known for, because Core Mega is an authentic artist. He bring realness and realism to the game. You believe everything he say, and for good reason. That's Core Mega. The storytelling is top tier, upper echelon storytelling. A lot of people wish they could tell a story the way Core Mega tell a story. He got a lot of dope shit as far as telling stories, and I think a lot of y'all need to tap in. If you ain't tapped into Core Mega, you need to tap in. This joint right here is probably one of the best underground albums of that time, if not of all time. But it's definitely in that era, it's definitely one of the best joints that it came out and from a independent artist, like a real independent artist from the mud, doing it himself. He put that thing out there and it got a good reception. It won the Source Independent Album of the Year when the Source really meant something. So that's saying a lot. You understand? Like, the Source used to mean something. People used to value the Source's opinion and the Source's criticism. So definitely a great album. Some of the notable tracks on this joint is The True Meaning, Love In, Love Out, The Come Up, Therapy. Those is some of the tracks that stood out on this joint. Some of the producers is Large Professor, Ayatollah, J Love, High Tech, Shy Money XL, Primo, etc. But like I said before, this joint is one of the best albums to come out in underground hip hop. Like this is one of them cornerstone joints. It stands the test of time. People still fuck with it to this day. I know I personally still fuck with it. Like I could go through Mega discography from start to finish, and it's good music for me. Like I said, it ain't started out that way for me, but being a realist, his first album being a realness, what else could I do? But if you ain't here, Mega the true meaning, please go tap in, because it's a great album, a classic album, fire. And don't forget, man, if you ain't leave a comment on what the rating system should be, let me know so we could start leaving a rating system on these videos and on these albums, because we want to kind of, show like what's top tier and what's mid tier and what's low tier, because even though it's classic, it could be broken up. So if you got any ideas on what we should do as far as a rating system, let me know. Next up, we got the Clips with Lord Willing. This is the Clips debut album. This album right here, fire. I remember this joint because I was in class and somebody was beating on the desk. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck is that? That shit sound hard, but what is that? And the motherfucker was like, boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, yo, what's that? Fire. That shit is fire. He like, oh, that's grinding. You ain't hear grinding yet? Nah, grinding. What's grinding? The Clips. The Clips. Who that? That's a new group. Pharrell new group. Pharrell got a group? Oh shit. Now I go home. I go home and I'm watching Rap City. The Clips. Grinding come on. Bro, this shit at the time, it was different because you didn't see no shit like this. You never seen a visual like this. You didn't hear nothing like this. The beat was different. The raps was different. Like the way they talk blow rap is different than anything you ever heard before. Um it's real vivid depictions of this shit. Like you could see it. Everything they talking about. The wordplay, they got the wordplay to a T. Pusha T and Malice. Fire with the wordplay. And the production from the Neptunes, it sealed the deal. Like I said, nobody really could talk that blow rap like they do. Like they got that shit at a high level, upper echelon. They top tier with it. They helped put Virginia on the map as far as music go and the hip hop scene go, rap and shit like that. They helped put Virginia on the map. Um, the Neptunes produced this whole entire joint. The Neptunes, Pharrell and Chad Hugo, they produced the whole album from start to finish. So for this to be a classic, considered a classic joint in hip hop, and they produced the whole joint, that's crazy. It debuted number 4 on the Billboard 200. Grinding, as I mentioned before when I told my little story, wasn't, but grinding became a hip hop anthem. It's like a national anthem, basically, like for the trap type shit. Grinding, man. That shit is. It's not too much you need to say about grinding when it come to its place in hip hop or its place in rap. It is what it is. Like, not gonna say too much more about that. Besides grinding, other tracks that stand out on this shit is when the last time Virginia and Comedy Central. It's a lot more tracks on here. They got a lot of dope features. And as I said before, all of the tracks that's on here is produced by the Neptunes. So if you did not hear Lord Willing by the Clips, please, 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 please go tap in. Whatever streaming device you got, whatever streaming service, whatever. If you ain't got no streaming service and you gotta ask somebody to download it for you and put it on the CD, hopefully they still got a CD burner or whatever, go listen to the Clips, Lord willing, and get back to me and leave a comment and let us know if you consider this one of the classic albums in your opinion. If not, let us know why not. But we about to get on to the next one. Next up, we got Godson. And this right here is Nas' sixth studio album right here. This album got real personal. I don't know, like Nas already an introspective artist, but this joint got personal, more personal than he already is. It reflect on his struggles with his mother passing away, R.I.P. to Nas' mom. The feud with Jay-Z, like the go, you know what I'm saying, going back and forth and shit, and like the type of stress or strain that could put on your career and your life and all of that, especially at that time. This wasn't something that was normal. You ain't just jump out the window and start beefing with somebody. Like, they took this shit serious. I'm pretty sure it would have been like an altercation if Jay-Z and Nas seen each other back at that time, because it just was that way. Like, this shit was something that really struck a nerve. It hit the pride and the ego, you know what I'm saying? Like, as a man. And that's the type of shit that Nas talked about on Godson. Like I said, grief, loss, faith, spirituality, street shit, and cultural reflection. Those is the key themes on this joint right here. We got records like Made You Look, Get Down, I Can, Dance, Thug's Mansion. It's more tracks on this joint, but those are some of the tracks right there that stand out as far as the tracks that I like. You might like other tracks, and if you do, comment, because I want to know what tracks you like. And I'll definitely talk back. Production credits include, but this is not the only producers. Salam Remy, Eminem, Ron Browse, Alchemist. Those are a few of the producers. There's a couple more, but I didn't list all of them. I want you to go in there and you might find a joint from a producer that I didn't list that you like. And when you do, leave that joint in the comment, man. And make sure y'all hit that like button and make sure y'all subscribing to the channel, because we gonna keep coming with more shit like this, man. This ain't the end of it. This is only the beginning. It's more, and it's gonna get innovative, just like the music, just like the sound got innovative. The channel gonna get innovative, man. But just stay tuned into the Slow Burn Report. Made You Look, Made You Look. That's a classic track. That's one of my favorite tracks from Nas. Made You Look. It's not my favorite. It's not in my top 5 favorite, of course. We gonna get to my top 5 favorite Nas tracks too, but it's not in my top 5 favorite Nas tracks. But it's one of my favorite Nas tracks right here, man. Made You Look. If you ain't hear Made You Look, you definitely need to hear that. That beat is sinister. It's one of them beats that when you hear it, you want to put your hoodie on, tie the strings tight, and you just Yeah, it's one of them ones. But Dance, that's a track dedicated to his mom, and that's definitely like a more vulnerable track. And he had a what, Heaven? Yeah, Heaven. I believe that's dedicated to his mom too. Um, if you didn't hear these tracks, you need to hear them. Those tracks definitely touching. Uh, Nas, man, he an incredible artist. Incredible artist. This album right here is an essential part of Nas' career and an essential part of his discography. So if you have not heard Godson by Nas, I need you to pick up your phone or get on your laptop or whatever device you got and search up Nas Godson. Tap in and let me know exactly what you think. Leave a comment because we comment back here on Slow Burn Report and let us know, should we have listed the Nas Godson album? Should we have not? Should we have mentioned other producers? Should we have mentioned other tracks? Talk to us. We talk back. But definitely go check out that Godson album by Nas. All right. Next up, we got Nas, The Lost Tapes. This joint right here is a compilation of unreleased tracks, but it's still fire nonetheless. It came out around the time the tracks rather. The tracks is from the time he was recording I Am and Stillmatic. It's in between those times. So it's tracks that didn't make those albums for whatever reason. Maybe they got lost, maybe the label didn't want them, maybe Nas didn't want them. But for whatever reason, they didn't make those two albums and they came out. And this joint right here is fire. Um, One of Nas' best projects considered by many, me included. This joint is fire. This one of those ones right here that focus on Nas lyricism more than anything. Like, of course, people like beats and all of that. People want to, you know, have something to vibe to. But this is one of them joints where you could really sit back and enjoy the lyricism of an artist like Nas. You understand? Like, if you a person that like lyrics, if you a person that like wordplay, storytelling, shit like that, then you gonna like this joint right here. You for sure gonna like it. Cause you got tracks like Blazer 50 and Drunk by Myself. That's definitely um those storytelling type tracks that's gonna take you to a place that's gonna make you be able to close your eyes and see what's going on. It's real vivid. That's what Nas do. That's what Nas known for, a storyteller. And that's why he one of my favorite artists, if not my favorite. We gonna get into my top 5 one day though, but not today. Um, like the themes on this joint is like shit like regret, struggle, and perseverance. Excuse me. Um, the critics said this is one of Nas' best works, and I say this one of Nas' best works. This is probably like in this definitely in my top 5. It's in my top 5. If it's not 4, then it's 5. It's probably 5, but we gonna do that too. We gonna do my top 5 Nas albums and probably a couple other joints. Whoever y'all suggest, leave a comment in the comments and let me know who y'all think I should list off their top 5 albums, or should I pick myself? Let me know in the comments. Um, Do Rags, My Way, Blazer 50, Drunk by Myself, and Purple. Those some of the tracks that stand out to me. Um, you got producers on this joint like Alchemist, LES, Large Professor, Kanye West. It was a lot more producers on there too, but I only picked out a few because I'm not about to dig through all them shits. But y'all go through the whole album and let me know what tracks y'all like and which producers y'all like on the album. Cause that's, you know what I'm saying, that's something that you will appreciate more. That's something I appreciate more. I don't want to tell you everything. This is my personal thoughts. This is my personal opinions on these albums. This is not law. This is not what you gotta feel. We ain't gotta argue about it, none of that shit. This is what I personally feel. I'm trying to recommend something for people who probably didn't hear none of these albums. You understand? Or none of this shit that I'm talking about. So if you heard it, then let me know what you like or what you dislike. But if you ain't hear it, then I recommend you definitely go listen to this joint right here. This right here is one of the best rap albums of the era. Like, it's definitely timeless, a timeless classic. It showed that Nas is a timeless classic. It stamped them and solidified. He was already stamped and solidified, but it only made the stamp and the solidification that much more greater when he dropped this joint. He's a legend. Nas is a legend. Like I said, if you did not hear the Lost Tapes by Nas, go listen to it. If you did, go listen to it. Let me know your favorite tracks. Let me know your favorite producers on the album. And get back to me in the comments, man. Nas, Lost Tapes. All right, let's get into the Blueprint 2 by Jay-Z. This Jay-Z 7th studio album is the follow-up to the Blueprint. Um, this joint was a double album. Uh, he tried to answer back to that Ether joint a few times on here, but I don't feel like he could do it. I don't feel like he killed that Ether joint. I don't feel like he redeemed himself. I feel like this joint got classic records on it, but I feel like he shouldn't have even tried to even focus on that shit on it because it was just a no. But this album definitely showed versatility, and it like began that evolution, like as far as where he was going with his music. And like it just changed the style of his music a little bit. Not too much, but enough to see where we got Jay-Z today. Like it wasn't all just braggadocious, um, talking shit, hustle raps. It was more introspective and getting into himself and bringing out reflective thoughts and shit. Like I said, it's a double album, so it was like two concepts on it. So it was like the success side of shit, and then like the bad side, the reverse side of success, basically like struggles and shit. Um, he experimented with a lot of sounds as far as features and production on this joint. Uh, it had like R&B features, rock and roll, pop shit, of course hip hop, but it had a lot of different features on there. Like it wasn't just the normal Jay-Z features on this album right here. You had shit like features from Beyonce, Big Boy, Dr. Dre, Rakim. I think Lenny Kravitz was on this joint too. So it was like a little mix up of features. You know, you had the old and the new with hip hop. Then you had R&B, and you had some rock. So it definitely was a mix up with this album right here. He had records like Excuse Me Miss, the '03 Bonnie and Clyde joint, Meet the Parents, Hovey Baby, and Somehow, Some Way. Of course, Kanye is one of the producers on here, the Neptunes, Just Blaze, Dr. Dre, Timbaland, No ID, and Heavy D. Man, rest in peace to Heavy D. Let's give a shout out to Heavy D. Um, like I said before, he got features from people like Beyonce and Rakim, Big Boy, Killer Mike, Scarface, Beanie Siegel, Truth Hurts, and Lenny Kravitz. I said Lenny Kravitz, but all those people are on here and more. Those are just some of the features, but he had a wide range of features, a wide range of sounds on this album, and that's what made this album different, and that's what brought us into the Jay-Z sound that we have today as far as the evolution. It sparked that evolution. It had like a mixed reception. People loved it, some people loved it. Some people didn't love it so much. But despite all of the mixed reviews or uh, mixed receptions that it got, it still, like I said, it showed where Jay-Z was going as far as an artist, where he was taking his talents, where he was taking his creativity, where he was taking his lyricism. It showed all of that in the Blueprint too. So if you ain't hear the Blueprint too, and you a Jay-Z fan, you need to go listen to the Blueprint too and understand why this is considered one of those notable classic albums from Jay-Z. And it sparked the Jay-Z that we got today. All I can say is go tap in. Jay-Z, Blueprint 2. Next up, we got Scarface, The Fix. This joint right here is Scarface's 7th album. Lucky number 7, the God number 7. This is considered one of Scarface's best works. And that's an incredible thing at your 7th album to be considered one of your best works. His introspection, social commentary, and street wisdom still prevalent in this album. Those are characteristics that we know Scarface for. He's a pioneer in that lane as far as the introspective lyrics and that street talk and the street tales and all of that. Maybe one of the things that stood out or made more people listen to this joint was the more polished production on it. It's definitely one of those albums, a staple in the South and Southern hip hop. But for me, in hip hop as a whole, because it came out at a time where it's like a coming to age type thing for me. So definitely The Fix is one of them joints. shit, as a kid, I remember Scarface stories and shit, and remember some of them shits being like, damn, this shit's scary. Like, but it was real life. You understand? So the fact that he could put you in that place, even me being a kid and being kind of scared of the stories he telling, I still grew older and understood. Like by the time Nas I Am came out and he was on that joint with Nas, I'm like, damn. Yeah, Scarface is one of them ones. Like the story, what is it? Favor for Favor. That's one of my favorite Nas tracks right there. But we'll get into that later. We talking about Scarface the Fix. Definitely a legendary storyteller. As always, he reflected on his life, spirituality, and personal struggle, shit that's going on in his life. That's Scarface though. That's what he do. And that's what make him a great artist. And that's what made a lot of people into the artists they are today. Scarface inspired a lot of people, man. I'm part of that inspiration. And we thank you for doing what you do, man. It's raw street tales in here, wisdom, and of course introspective lyrics, man. It's features on this joint from Jay-Z, Nas, Faith Evans, Kelly Price, and a few more. But those is a few that stood out to me. Nas always gonna stand out. I like when Nas and Scarface get together, but I also like when Jay-Z and Scarface get together. So what can I say? Like Scarface is one of the ones, man. He's a pioneer to this shit, and Nas and Jay-Z is a part of that that lane of telling them street tales and getting introspective and being storytellers. So it's only right that they got with Face Mob. So if you this joint right here got a Grammy nomination for Best Rap Album. It's considered a Southern rap classic. To me, like I said, it's considered a classic in general. Um, you got production credits on here from Scarface, N.O. Joe, Kanye West, Mike Dean, and a few more. But I want y'all to go peep all the tracks out, peep the producers out, let me know who y'all fucking with, as usual. Like I said, this is one of them albums that took Scarface to another level. So it's definitely a landmark album in Scarface's career. And it's because of his top tier storytelling, of course, the introspection, but it's also because of the next level production he brought with this album. When you mix the right elements together, you get magic. You get some shit that can only happen once or twice, or you get some shit that can only happen for you. It's not a formula that's gonna work for everybody. It's a formula that's gonna work for you. And when you stick with that and when you use that formula, you don't get nothing but success. And Scarface been a success with his formula over the years. If you ain't hear Scarface the Fix or any other Scarface albums for that matter, please go tap into Scarface. Scarface is solidified in hip hop, not only the South, not only in the old school, he's solidified as a legendary hip hop artist. So if you ain't heard Scarface, please go listen to that Scarface the Fix first. Then you could go either back or you could go to the future or whatever, or to the present rather. But tap into Scarface, please. And next up, We got 50 Cent. Guess who's back? This joint right here is one of my favorites from 50 Cent right here. This shit came out and it was in my rotation crazy. Like I used to play this motherfucker while I was playing Madden or Grand Theft Auto and just play it all the way through because it's one of them ones. It's a classic right here. This is prime 50 right here. This is when 50 couldn't be stopped type shit. This before he even became a mainstream success. Before his even before his mixtapes really blew up. This is right after he got shot. He came back, and this was the start of that G Unit wave and the 50 Cent era right here. It solidified his street rep after that shooting, and he dropped this joint, and he was pressing everybody, and he wasn't taking no prisoners. This shit definitely boosted his street rep. He made a name for himself, and his name stuck, and he still got that name, and he still got his street rep today. Around the time he dropped this joint, he caught the attention of Eminem, and then of course he ended up on Shady Aftermath. But that's how fire 50 was at this point. Like his mixtapes and his underground street shit was reaching the likes of people like Eminem and Dr. Dre type shit. Around this time, he had a beef with Ja Rule and Murder Inc. And when he dropped this joint, the beef just picked up and intensified. It got crazier. Shit was going on. Lights was getting turned out. People was getting stabbed. Niggas was getting slapped. Chains was getting snatched. All type of shit, man. He got records on here that's produced by the Track Masters, Shy Money XL, Red Spider. Those are a few of the people that's on the album that get production credits. But it's definitely a fire album, and those producers definitely contributed to this joint being fire. They got some excellent production on this motherfucker right here. Like I said, it definitely launched 50 career, and it helped him get that deal that he needed with Shady Aftermath, a legendary deal, a legendary era. 50 run is something that we definitely gonna talk about because it's something that need to be talked about. It was different. It was a different type of time. The music was different. Like I don't think nobody really is making the music and got the impact like how 50 did. But we definitely gonna talk about that. This album did not achieve mainstream success or whatever, but it definitely led to him getting a deal with Eminem, and then it led to Get Rich or Die Trying, and now we got the 50 Cent that we got now. So it wasn't a mainstream success, but it was a success. So if you did not hear 50 Cent's Guess Who's Back, and you got a device that you could stream on, whether it be your phone or your laptop, you need to go stream that 50 Cent Guess Who's Back and leave a comment and let me know what you think about it. I'm pretty sure you ain't gonna be disappointed, especially if you're a 50 fan and you never heard Guess Who's Back. You definitely won't be disappointed because it's fire. Tap in, leave that comment, hit the like, let us know what's going on. Let us know how you feel about that 50 Cent Guess Who's Back. And we about to get into the next one. Yeah, and last but not least, we got Cameron, Come Home With Me. This right here is Cameron's third studio album. He had just got signed to Rockefeller, and this joint right here is fire. Yo, Cam was gone for a little while before this album dropped. Like, just to me, it was like, damn, where the fuck Cam when he disappeared or whatever. But one day, my cousin came through and he like, yo, Cam signed to Rockefeller Dame Dash signed him. And I'm like, what? For real? I'm hyped now, whatever. I start hearing the freestyles, fire. Then he dropped Old Boy, fire. Then he dropped Hey Ma, fire. The album dropped. The album is fire all the way through. This is one of them joints just like the 50 Cent that I was playing from the intro to the outro every day, like on the wake up type shit. Um, it definitely solidified Kim as a mainstream artist and it put Dipset on the map as a group, as a record label, as a clique. They definitely became a household name. They became trendsetters and they was putting out good music. Like at that point, if you was from Harlem or you had any affiliation with Dipset, then you was gonna sell something. You was gonna sell enough at the, you know what I'm saying? Like you wasn't gonna be no dud or whatever. You gonna at least get your name or your foot through the door rather, not your name, but you gonna get your foot through the door and then your name is gonna pick up traction just because you fucking with Dipset. But you of course gotta have the talent, you gotta have the skill to back that up. But just off of the name alone, people was gonna tap in like, oh, you fuck with Dipset, okay, cool. Then you got a stamp from Cam or Jewels. I'm about to see who this is. But then you got to be able to hold up to that. You understand? Cam is known for his charisma. He known for his humor. He also known for his lyricism and his witty wordplay, his clever punchlines and shit. Like Kim is one of them ones. Like a lot of people sleep on him. A lot of people was giving him flack around this time for saying certain shit, computers puting and all of that shit. But you really look at it, y'all took it and ran with it. Y'all talking about hitting. This slapping. Like that's what Kim was already doing back then. He had the computer puting, and you knew what he meant, but y'all was just being assholes. But anyway, this album definitely was well received by critics. It was well received by the fans. This joint went platinum. Oh Boy at that point in time was one of the most played singles on the radio, period. Like before it and at that time, that was one of the most played records on the radio. Features on this joint include Jewels, Jim Jones, Freaky Zeke, and Herb McGruff. Hey, yo, shout out to Herb McGruff though. That's one of them, definitely one of them Harlem legends, one of them Harlem MCs that ain't talked about enough. Herb McGruff get busy. He's nice. Um, if you ain't heard of Herb McGruff, you need to go look him up. And we definitely gonna do an episode on Herb McGruff because he need to be talked about. We need some light on him. He need to get his flowers, and we gonna do that here on the Slow Burn Report. Um, Production credits go to Kanye West, Just Blaze, 8 Track, A-Track, excuse me, and the Heat Makers. You got tracks on here, Oh Boy, Boy, Welcome to New York, and Hey Ma. Those just a few of the tracks that's on this joint. That's fire. But the whole album to me, from start to finish, is a fire album. It definitely brings you into the Harlem diplomat world. You get to understand what's about to happen for the next 5 to 6 years as far as what the diplomats was doing, because they definitely had a run of their own, and we gonna get into that more at a later date. But it's definitely a landmark album for the early 2000s. This is one of them albums that changed the game. This is one of them albums that uh pioneered that new sound that we got with the soulful samples and shit like that. It definitely brought about the more extravagant and flashy talk. Like, you know, Dipset for that, for getting fly, for talking that talk, and for being arrogant and cocky. That's Dipset shit, you know. But if you ain't here Cameron Come Home With Me, which is one of them East Coast classics. Definitely a classic for the era. A classic in general for me. Um, you need to go tap in. I want you to go look up Cameron Come Home With Me. Listen to that joint from start to finish and let me know if there's anything on there that you would have skipped, anything on there that you don't like. If you don't like the whole joint, let me know. But let's talk about it. Other than that, I'm about to get up out of here. It's been the 2002 rap albums. It's way more because it was a great year for rap, as always. I'm telling you, this is one of them eras, the 90s to the 2000s, about 2008, 2010. This is one of them eras. You definitely want to get in tune with it. If it's not something that you are privy to already, tap the fuck in. Let me know how you feel about some of these albums, and we gonna keep it going. We out.